Hey everyone, it's Ellis, and this is the League of Legends patch 13.22 preview that they just ended up putting out just a couple of hours ago, so we're just going to go through it. So, champion buffs, Mundo is going to get E bonus AD 2 to 3% max HP to 2 to 3.4% max HP, which does not really matter because, again, Mundo, he's even if he's farming like really well, he doesn't start getting obscene amounts of HP until you're talking about like 4 or 5 items, and that generally is not the reason that you pick Mundo in modern League of Legends. So even though it is a 0.4% max HP buff and it is the bonus AD on his E, it doesn't translate really to anything super. The major basic attacks: Timing, Rumble, Singe, Heimerdinger, Ziggs, Xerath, Ivern, Nico, Ahri, Twisted Fate, Teemo. Missile attack speed, Karthus, Cassiopeia, Annie, etc. Attack speed. So this is interesting. So mages are just getting overall buffed. Okay. So the missile speed, so I guess the projectile of like, you know, their spit or whatever for the missile, right, is being increased. Then the actual attack speed of these champions is going up. So Annie, very big one to notice. Xerath, another really big one. Lissandra, just because of the way that she trades, obviously, inside of lane. Zillion, I guess, is pretty interesting. And Nivea, obviously, getting a lot of help there. Zoe does not need any assistance. I don't understand this. Ryze and Syndra are probably just going to benefit from this, like, way too much. I don't understand this either. And then Ahri and LeBlanc. And I do not get that, but okay. Rammus W, bonus armor 30 to 40, total armor scaling unchanged. This is obviously very confusing. Mostly just because they really seem indecisive with what they want to do with Rammus, and Rammus just will sort of like a pub stomper in lower Mamars and then even higher Mamars with champion. So champion nerfs: Briar, Q damage is going to go from 60 to 200, AD ratio unchanged. Q armor shred 10 to 20 per 10 to 26 to 10 to 20. So she's just losing 6% of your armor shred. So not the end of the world for Briar. R damage 150 to 500 plus 110%. Okay, 150 to 450. So she's actually only losing damage in the later scalings, which I do not think matters for Briar. And 75% bonus AD, AP ratio unchanged. Okay, so losing a lot of the bonus AD, making it so that her R just doesn't deal that much damage immediately on impact. I think that's honestly, I mean, I think it's pretty fine for Briar nerfs. Graves, E bonus armor 4 to 16 to 2 to 14. This is more of a nerf for lane Graves than it is obviously for jungle Graves. And that's just the way it's viewed. Objectively, it makes Graves so much squishier in lane. And I know that lane is not really typically where he shows up as much these days, but still, it is just something. Kassadin EP ratio 85 to 80%. RIP ratio is also going back down. So this is very funny because they buffed Kassadin not too long ago, and now they're taking away some of his AP. Now he's still going to be in a buff state from where he was back then, but it is interesting to just see Riot like always do these random things. Nilah, Q bonus attack speed 10 to 60%, level scaling to 10 to 50%, R damage over time ratio, 80% bonus AD, base damage unchanged, burst damage unchanged, R total damage 185 to 505 plus 232% to 185 to 505 plus 200%. So she's losing a lot of burst. Nilah, if you have followed any of like the patron tier lists and other stuff that I've talked about, and I've talked about Nilah for a while, she is one of the she probably just is the most misunderstood AD carry champion that does exist still to this day in bot lane. People never play her with her proper pairings. It almost seems like her teammates don't even really understand what she's doing, and surely the opponents don't know what's going on. She's just a very, very interesting champion. So these nerfs I think are actually fine, because I think that if you've seen Nilah played at very high level, or you've seen, you know, one tricks on her or something like that, you already know that she has obscene amounts of damage, and, you know, losing this type of stuff is not actually going to cripple her. Tahm Kench, passive bonus health ratio 5% to 4%. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Ziggs, base armor 22 to 18, obviously hurts him down in bottom lane, not as much in mid lane, but I mean, mid lane will still feel the pain a little bit, but definitely bot lane is where Ziggs will feel this the most. Champion adjustments: Brand, E damage 65 to 165 plus 50% AP to 60 to 180 plus 60% AP. Okay, so they gave him, how is this an adjustment? What? So they nerfed his E early, which I guess affects lane Brand a little bit, right? They nerfed his super early trading, but then they gave him just overall way more damage, which is insane for Brand, because Brand is just on the cusp of competitive viability. And, I mean, he already is sort of competitively viable, so Interesting. E cooldown refund 3 seconds, 40% of cooldown. This is a buff before 70 ability haste. R travel time 0.55 to 0.5. I saw someone making a post about this. I want to say it was Walrus made a post about it and talked about how, you know, now the Impregnator Gragas build is just totally gone, but this is overall a buff for Gragas on the mass majority of his builds. So in that regard, yes, Gragas is getting buffed. Janna, attack range 500 to 550, attack timing 22% to 20%, lots of other base stat changes. New passive 20 to 35% of bonus MS as on hit damage, and W damage no longer provides Janna 6% MS towards allies. I think that's 35% of bonus MS as on hit damage. Okay. So if you speed her up, there's gonna be like, I don't even know what's going on here. I mean, that's such a weird passive, right? Because it reads like such an old passive. It reads like a 2011 or like 2012 passive where like someone wants to be an MTG Johnny and they just want to like have like Lulu on their team or like Karma or, you know, these other types of champions that like speed Janna up and then she goes on hit or something and has this massive steroid. And I just don't think that you can afford to build Janna that way. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this, honestly. Really don't. Q mana. 60 to 190 to 110. Okay, so they're really nerfing her Q. Q damage 60 to 160 plus 35% AP to 55 to 195 plus fit weight. They're making it hurt a lot more. Q damage channel is also 45 to 105 plus 30% to 30 to 90 plus 30%. Oh, okay. So they're making the upfront damage just better, but the channel time, like even if you just channel it into, you know, the next year, then it's not as big. Okay. W cooldown 12 to 8, 12 to 8 to 6. Okay. W mana 50 to 90 to 50 to 70. W damage 80 to 200. Okay. New W no longer deactivates while on cooldown. W slow duration. All right. These are all like fine. It's almost like they're giving Janna like essentially a mini rework, which is actually hilarious, because Janna is competitively viable right now. She's just not popular, and I don't know what people can do about that. Because when Janna is really, really, really good, or when she's like broken levels of good, everyone and their mother is going to play Janna. And when she's not like that, no one's actually going to put in the time to justify picking her, even if she is like an S or Z tier champion in the support role. So it's very bizarre. I don't know what Riot can do to like fix that. I do not think that these changes are in any way indicative of a good direction to try to fix that. Seraphine passive damage 4 to 25 plus 7% AP to 5 to 30 plus 5% AP. So they're giving her Enchanter build more. 50 to 250 AP break even. Q damage amp threshold 75% missing HP to 85%. Okay, but this is making Mage better. What? W shield 50 to 150 plus 25% to 50 150 plus 20%. Okay, I don't even understand. I mean, okay. So yeah, I don't get it. Now the thoughts for why they're doing what they're doing is obviously here on the right hand side. I will move my webcam so that we can read these together. Mage attack speed, looking at varying approaches to different champions based on whether they already have a good attack frame, how much we want them to be attacking, etc. We know this may put some champions a bit overall balance-wise. Yeah, I agree. Briar trainers are targeted at reducing how potent Briar is in lower skill brackets, secondarily target. Okay. Graves is a bit too durable overall, and especially in the early game, we like that. He's a good duelist, but he's winning these stat checks early a bit too often. Kassadin overall, Kassadin benefit longer, less snowbally games. We're taking down some of his elite skewed spells down a tad. Okay. Large cooldowns like R tend to be better utilized by normal players who also tend to stand in the ability. Okay. Senna gained. Wait, Senna's not. Oh, Senna. Oh my god, I completely skipped Senna. Oh my god. Oh my lord. I guess the way Lucian did. All right. Q damage 30 to 170 to 30 to 150 plus 50. All right. The 80 ratio is unchanged. Q healing 40 to 100 to 40 to 80. 30% bonus 80, 40% AP plus 1. Okay. So everything's unchanged there. I don't even know why they're mentioning it then. So Senna's Q healing and her damage is going down. Now, this is obviously really funny because if anyone saw like the competitive having for like Revan and I did, and Crowny and myself and others talked about like on stream, it wasn't until last week that Senna started actually appearing in Worlds, but we'd been pretty adamant that Senna was one of the best champions obviously in the game just because of a lot of her pairings. So very interesting to see that she's instantly being brought down in one of the follow-up patches. But Overall, targeting mostly the outputs that are tied to farming roles, AP ratios, Qs, farming tool, etc., and leaving most of the supportive outputs, which is just really weird because I think originally they didn't want Seraphine to be a support, right? They wanted her to be an actual mid lane champion, so this is like weird. Gragas, high haste, codex stacking, e-spamming builds, etc. While funny and largely ineffective, just look a bit strange bugs, so we're adjusting the cooldown paradigm. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Senna gained a bunch from the longer, less snowbally games, and her Q usage and output are used significantly better by higher skilled players. We're taking some power away from this while still making sure the ability remains satisfying. Okay. So that is pretty much it. Honestly, patch sucks. We need more changes. I don't know. Until we actually see what's going on with the overall map and what they're going to do to actually just make the game feel different, we have been in the Emerald Dream or something. I don't know really where it's going. You guys are seeing it at Worlds this year. This is, I think, the lowest amount of champions that have ever been picked at Worlds. The meta has been insufferable literally all year long. Riot, Freak, in a video actually said that Riot was just going to start forcefully changing the meta, and then I actually did ask Riot about what happened to that statement that Freak made, and then I think the justification was that there was like slight change in champions, and so they felt like the meta was adjusting or something like that, and it's just it's ridiculous because you look at tournaments like Zayu Cup, you look at Drew Toot Series Cup and stuff like that, you look at competitive, and obviously there is just a major there's a major polarity there going on. So a lot of things just really, I don't know. These types of patch notes and previews and stuff, these almost don't even matter anymore because it's just not really moving things unless like you get absolutely massive things to happen or come from it, like the stuff that they're doing with like Brand or like maybe the stuff with Janna or something like that. Like it takes things like that or new champions to come out for meaningful things to happen without like being flavor of the month. So it does just kind of suck in that regard. So hopefully we do get to see what happens with the map changes and we Horizon Man, please. Games, please. Anyways, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe here to the FlyQuest YouTube channel. And we'll see what ends up actually making it into the final cut of the patch. And I'll see you guys for the co-streams resuming tomorrow. See you. Bye-bye.